Hello everyone, welcome to Vysh Courses YouTube channel and to the series of current updates. In this video, we are going to discuss about the topic India asks United Nations to recognize Hinduphobia. So to go or to discuss more about this topic, before that, what you need to do is you need to subscribe to this channel, like the video and give your feedback in the comment box, and most importantly, share this video with your friends and relatives. So that will act as a source of motivation to us and will come up with more and more interesting content to you. Okay, with that note, let's start the video. So the news is about to recognize Hinduphobia and violence against the Buddhist Sikh also too. This is the statement given by Indian envoy to United Nations. So let's see more details about the news and what is the news actually about. So, the India's permanent representative to the United Nations, so he is TS Tirumurti. He said that United Nations latest global counter-terrorism strategy has took place by United Nations. So it will be passed in 2022, and he is saying that actually this global counter-terrorism strategy has too many flaws and it is very selective in nature. So he told that it could reserve gains from the global consensus in the war of terror post 9/11, and he called the United Nations to recognize even the Hindu phobia along with other phobias like Islamophobia or Christian phobia or something like that. Hindu phobia also should be recognized according to him. So, along with the other acts of religious hatred against Buddhism and Sikhism should also be recognized according to him. So, in the last 1 year, India has been criticized on the international media with several allegations on the growing right wing terrorism in the country. So, people are telling right wing terrorism is growing in India. So, India was pointed out for the point of right wing terrorism in the recent international politics. Okay, you can see this particular headline as Hindu extremists call for killing of Muslims. Indian leaders kept silence. Right-wing Hindu activists at conference took an oath to harm Muslims if necessary to take a Hindu-only nation. So these kind of comments are given by the international countries, okay, and they called Indian politics as the right-wing, like right-wing. They are holding the right-wing terrorism according to them. Okay, presently India is a member of United Nations Security Council elected members. Apart from the permanent five, though it is now acting as a non-permanent from the Asia Pacific. It is representing. Okay, um, apart from India, UAE is also representing the Asia Pacific region. And India is set to preside over the UNSC in the December 2022. Okay, so so what they are telling that India's permanent representative to the United Nations TS Tirumurti, he has given a keynote address at the virtual conference which was organized by the Delhi-based Global Counter-Terrorism Center, that is GCTC. So on the occasion, he spoke as the ambassador of India to the United Nations, and he is also a member and the member of the Counter-Terrorism Committee of the United Nations Security Council 2022. So, as he was a member and he was also ambassador of India to UN, he spoke about the nation. He represented the nation on this particular matter. So, he told that India assumed the chair of the CTC in January 22. As a part of that, Mr. Tirumurti gave a strong remarks suggesting that India will oppose any expansion of the terms that are included in the UNS's discussions on the terrorism until it gets the seat in December 2022. And Tirumurti pointed out that only religious phobias against Abrahamic religions like Islam, Christianity, Judaism has been named in this strategy, that is Global Counter-Terrorism Strategies. That is a 7th review passed by a GA in June 2021 that will be implemented in 2022. So, the emergence of the contemporary forms of religious phobia, especially anti-Hindu, anti-Sikh, anti-Buddhist phobias, are also a serious concern according to him, and he told that they need to have attention of the US and all member states to address this threat also. So he's pointing out that only Abrahamic religions are mentioned in this particular strategy, and some important serious concern phobias like anti-Hindu, anti-Buddhist, and anti-Sikh phobias are not mentioned in this particular strategy. And he is strongly demanding to even add these phobias to that. So, according to Tirumurti, violent nationalism and right wing extremism should not be included in the resolutions on terrorism. So, if it is included in the terrorism, and if it is included, the definition will become too dilute. The definition of the terrorism becomes dilute. So, the remarks indicated that the government's discomfort with the new terms being added to the definition of the terrorism. So, it is showing the government of India's discomfort about the words which are added to the definition of terrorism. So, in the past 2 years, several member states, driven by their political, religious, and other motivations, have been trying to label terrorism into different categories like right wing terrorism and all, such as ethnically motivated violent terrorism, such as violent nationalism, such as right wing extremism. So, these kind of categories are being labeled. Okay, this tendency is very dangerous for several reasons, according to Tirumurti. So, you can see some of the headlines in the other nations. Was the Jan 6 attack on the Capitol an act of terrorism? And some other headlines like Germany records highest level of right-wing extreme crime in 20 years. So according to him, he is referring to the recent political trends in the Western nations, in which they are categorizing terrorism into different forms. Mr. Tirumurti told that the national or regional narratives like right-wing terrorism and all, which are used in the national ways, should not be should not become the part of the global narratives. So, because it is very important to understand that in the countries which are having democracies, so having these kind of ideas is very common, because they will use the ballot paper kind of elections. So, even though we are using EVMs and all, it is nothing but it is representing the larger group of people. Democracy is nothing but it represents a larger group of people. It means this larger group of people might have a same ideology, and they may elect the person who has the same ideology. So it is very common to have these kind of ideologies in the democratic countries, according to him. So we should not name these kind of ideologies as a part of terrorism. And he said that attempts to categorize the motivation behind terrorism groups will add danger that could take the world back to the 9/11 era, that is 9/11 attack era, where groups were labeled as your terrorist and my terrorist. These kind of labels were given at that time. Okay, and you can also recollect how in the Cold War era the West supported one group and the Soviet Union the other group. Okay, these kind of labelings and these kind of differentiations will occur. Terrorists are terrorists, whether there is nothing like good terrorists and there is nothing like bad ones. Those who propagate these distinctions have an agenda, and those who cover up for them are just culpable, according to him. And Mr. Tirumurti also called on the Security Council to be on guard against new terminologies and false priorities that can dilute our focus. So, what are the challenges to India now? At present, at the UNSC, India also chairs the 1988 Taliban Sanctions Committee, and would have to preside over any request on easing or waiving sanction against Taliban leaders. At the same time, India also have to maintain her business interests in Afghanistan. So, these are some of the challenges that India has at present in the international scenario. Okay, this is all about the news. I think so this news is very interesting. So if you found this video interesting, do subscribe, like, share and comment, and thank you for watching. Jai Hind.